Crossing the beach with $1 million auto. Bring the cameraman, we can shoot our own knuckle. 812 matte black, looking like choco. I promise you the floor plan's nothing like the model. Black and wrist don't lie. Black and wrist don't lie. The money counter ding, it's so exciting. Summertime, Winterfell. I'm the Night King, the Colgate Kilo. The hood needs whitening. We fish scale niggas like we all Pisces. Your bitch in my bubble like I'm still typing. She hoping that you let her go like a kite string. Your eco-friendly jewelers, you keep recycling. Cartier bust downs, just not my thing to be.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Around the League edition of episode 51 of the Splash Cast. I'm your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host, Christopher Paul Norwood, and I'm exhausted. I just did 25 push-ups in front of the world, and I'm a 35-year-old man, soon to be 36-year-old man in a week, and I just got humbled.
Yep, got humbled, and you full of gas. So with that being said, you know, the Around the League edition of the episode 51 of the Splash Cast, we talk about HBCU news around the culture, news around basketball. We're going to cover the playoff picture as well as the NCAA championship winners, men and women. As you already know who won the women's, because the title of the episode is Queen Dawn. She's our queen. And then also news around the NFL and splashes of the week rounds us out. So with that being said, we're going to go right into our HBCU news around the culture segment because we talk about HBCU news first. That is what we grew up in, immersed in.
Numero uno.
And the Hawks are losing, so I can pay more attention now. So with that being said, you know, there's one person that has pretty much dominated the HBCU news circuit for the last year and a half. His name is Deion Primetime Sanders. He's got it cooking down there at JSU. He is changing the culture. They got a brand new locker room. One of the big reveals that is a really huge recruiting tool is the facilities on a campus, on any type of campus for these Power 5 schools. If you follow any, especially, and we're in SEC country, we're SEC football fans. So a lot of the SEC fans are fans of these big schools because there's not really professional football in their state. Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee just got that 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Arkansas,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, that's not where are SEC. Oklahoma. Yeah, so just to name a few. So when it comes to
Kentucky, that was the one I was.
Yeah, Kentucky. When it comes to football, the football team is the attraction. Mississippi being another state that doesn't have professional football teams. So when it comes to the money that's generated from the boosters, from donations, from fans, it all goes to the schools, and the schools use that to get top of the line facilities, build top of the line stadiums, which is why you normally have college stadiums that are bigger than pro stadiums. So JSU, Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi, has got a new locker room, and it is fire, state-of-the-art locker room, and that's just one of the improvements. Tell us about the locker room, Norwood. I know I saw the blue lights and the names TVs that go above the lockers.
Exactly. This is more of what you see. It's a smaller scale. I'm gonna be honest. It's not on the Florida, Georgia level as far as the size of it, but to go from what HBCU locker rooms look like, and if you've been to an HBCU and you've been in a locker room, you know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And even like Hampton, we have pretty good facilities. Our facilities don't look like this. This is an upgrade. This is an investment. And this is how you gain interest and retain interest, specifically for a guy who's looking to grab children out of the transfer portal. You want them to go to something that looks like what they're used to. You can't go from one end of the spectrum to this end of the spectrum. I'm not doing that. And, you know, you also had the situation with Master P and his son, where he ended up transferring out. And one of the main things that he was talking about was facilities and training table. So it's a focused effort on drawing people in. While we're speaking out facilities, I don't want to take the time, you know, take everything away from Jackson State, but I do want to say Edward Waters revealed their basketball floor, which is beautiful. It is immaculate. We say here every week, high tide raises all ships. We are the biggest advocates for HBCUs, and we like to see our schools moving in the right direction. I love it.
And if you don't know about Edward Waters, good job. I forgot to put that on the list. If you don't know about Edward Waters, we've reported on them numerous times, especially before they played Jackson State. You know, we talk about the tiers in HBCU. We have tiers just like PWI has tiers of schools. Edward Waters went from Edward Waters College, and they then went to Edward Waters University. They also have improved their facilities. They have generated a lot of money. And they are, as you said, a high tide raises all ships. They are moving in the right direction swiftly. Yeah. So if you don't know about Edward Waters down there in Florida, you need to go look them up. That is a great school. But back to JSU, you know, they've got about three things we're going to talk about here. The locker room, and Dion, he coaches. He's a football coach. He yells, he screams. He doesn't curse, but he yells, he screams. He wants you to do this. But he's also a coach that's from Florida, from the Glades. And he grew up, you know, when we were younger, you play football, you fight. There ain't no break it up. Ain't no hold it back, hash it out. And Dion said we let players hash out their fights, and then we make them dap it up and once they get it all out. Because there's a lot, especially when you have spring ball, summer practice, and you're so far away from the season. And you and I can both attest to that from high school, that spring and summer practice suck. I mean, it's fun because you're getting better and you have the competition is there and you're trying to get a spot on the field.
It's hot, it's uncomfortable.
So far away from the season. And it's so hot, and they in Jackson, Mississippi.
And every team that you played on, specifically even basketball a lot, but football, just to the physical nature of the game, just to the nature of being outside and the frustration that comes with that, it's going to get physical, and football players are going to fight. And
if you and just from a person standpoint, learning how to deal with conflict growing as you get older, it's not healthy to hold it all in, especially them at a younger age when the testosterone levels are at an all-time high. They lifting weights, they in peak shape, and they ain't got nothing else but get mad at each other because they can't see nobody. They can't see nobody else. Because Dion got that program running like a D1 school where their time is managed, 24 hours is managed. And so they got a lot of aggression.
If you let them go ahead, like he said, they got pads on, they got a helmet on. Better to do it there, because we know what happens if it doesn't. It's not like these guys are professionals and they walk off the field in the professionals fight. You don't see it, but they fight. They all fight. Mm-hmm. It just comes with being around in that environment. But I rather it be handled where the coaches are there, the rest of the team is there, because if not, it's going to fester over into the locker room. And we all know that you'd rather have a person fight on the field with all of your pads on, instead of getting to the locker room where it's slippery, it's unsafe, coach is not always watching.
And I'm saying that's the part that's scary for me. Yeah, if I'm a coach, is like nobody's there. So I mean, and RIP to when they just solved the case of the Miami player that got into a fight with his teammate, and his teammate ended up shooting him. That was a long time ago. That was a big deal. And if it would have, you never know, if it would have been handled on the field and it just brawled on the field and then in a controlled environment, then maybe it would have ended differently.
Exactly.
Right? So
And
I'm a proponent for it.
all seen somebody get their ass whooped in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And then it spirals because it's way worse. Because it's not like, all right, well, he just, on the football field, you get beat. Somebody's going to get beat on every play. Either you win or you lose. So it's a little bit easier to take, and you took it with all your pads on versus, you in the locker room and y'all really just throwing haymakers at each other. Those get ugly real fast. I'm happy to see somebody accept it so that it can be safer.
Definitely. And then closing out JSU, man, the women's team won the SWAC championship. Dion is bringing so much notoriety to Black college football, but to JSU, we wouldn't have known that JSU won the SWAC championship if it wasn't for social media now, because mainstream sports and mainstream sports websites and mainstream sports media, that's the word I'm looking for, doesn't necessarily cover all of the sports. And so if they don't cover all the sports, they're not going to cover all the Black college sports. So Dion, the fact that they're doing it now, he's using social media is wonderful. So shout out to JSU SWAC women's team. Go ahead.
And then, it's a hierarchy of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's Black college sports, and then within that, tennis is not one that's reported on. You have to actively go seek it.
Mm-hmm.
So, just having this platform and him bringing notoriety and visibility just because the cameras are there to their tennis team in ways that it's going to grow the tennis team, it's going to grow the program, it's going to make the school more attractive. And to get people to go to Jackson, Mississippi
what was that? Yeah, did it blink a little bit? Oh, that was your phone.
I'm getting a FaceTime from somebody in Miami. Hold on.
Hold on. All right, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Go. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. Our bad. We get these random calls that we weren't really expecting. So we put back.
We have a podcast schedule. We are two.
Everybody knows it, man. Everybody knows our podcast schedule, and yet we still get phone calls during the podcast.
It's our fault. We typically pod on Sundays and Mondays. Today, because of age reasons, we did Monday and Tuesday. I will allow it. I will take that on the nose. My apologies. But in closing, as far as Jackson State, Dion is a culture changer.
He is.
He's trying to put himself in the HBCU Hall of Fame in like a 3-year stint. And in the whole scheme of it, even if he doesn't stay forever, a lot of the work is being done.
He's kind of, like we talked about before, he's kind of writing the playbook of how to bring notoriety to your team. Another team that's actually following that playbook out east is Tennessee State. So Tennessee State has Eddie George. They're talking about, attacking the transfer portal as well, getting NIL deals, getting notoriety. One of the transfers that they're getting this year, who I actually, being a UGA fan, one of my co-workers, I kind of call him my mentee, is a high school football coach on the side. He also works where I work. And so we talk about recruiting a lot. And one of the recruits that got away, he ended up going to, where did he go? Did he go to Tennessee? I think he either went to Tennessee or Florida. I think he might have went to Florida. His name is Kayvon Pope.
Yes.
Kayvon Pope. He's a linebacker from Virginia. He was the 9th rated prospect. I'm sorry, he went to Ohio State. He was the 9th rated prospect in the class, and he's now transferring from Ohio State to Tennessee State, and he's from Virginia. So that's a huge get because he's 6'2", 230, and he can run like a 4.4, 4.5 40, which is what you have to do now at linebacker, apparently, because defensive linemen are running 4.55s or whatever stupid stuff.
Shout out to your boys.
All the UCA players.
I told you that grass was fixed. I knew it was fixed.
But it wasn't just them. It was everybody there.
The world.
But I wanted to highlight that Eddie George is following suit, and he's getting those players from the transfer portal. And Jackson State and Tennessee State play each other every year in the Classic anyway. So the level of competition is being raised to the 80s and 70s standards that my parents knew about and your parents knew about. And that was some great college football.
I am happy to see that we are attacking that portal, and we're leading with our big joker. You want to play for Stephen Matthews, some unknown guy who coaches Elon, or do you want to play with Eddie George and Deion Sanders? Give me the Hall of Famers.
Hugh Jackson. Give me everybody. Give me the Hall of Famers every time. And we're going to be on ESPN. Elon is not. I always say, I talk about this all the time. I say, ain't no way a kid that's a 2, 3, 4-star in football from Florida should be going to Wyoming. If you hate me from Wyoming, I probably will never see you, so I don't care. There's no way that anybody should be going to Idaho to play football. You should be going to the HBCUs. At HBCUs, I'm not even going to put that on the kid. You should be doing your due diligence and offering these kids these scholarships and marketing your school. So that's what's really going on now is the marketing aspect of it, and the fact that these HBCUs and sports programs are now hiring and have social media departments.
Hey, this is what I want to say though. I want to say this, and I mean what I say. And all the HBCUs that are used to getting the top tier money and getting their exposure, the onus is on you guys now. And I'm talking about Morehouse. Got to see some improvement in your football program. Howard, we got to see some more improvement in your football program. Hampton, we got to see some more improvement in your program. FAMU, we got to see some more improvement in your program.
They were number 2 in the SWAC, bro.
Oh, you're right. But what I'm saying is, my apologies.
But I understand what you're saying.
I don't want the Rattlers be the quick scope me, but we are, those are the schools that get all the shine. Those are the schools that, get all the Bezos money. You got to invest that. We need to be like, you got Jackson State, Tennessee State, Grambling, Hampton, where you at?
So the thing about, I agree. I think the rest of these schools, and I think the East Coast and the Mid-Atlantic region will follow suit soon, especially if Tennessee State keeps doing well and everybody keeps leaving the MEAC. The MEAC eventually would do it, but I think it's going to be more like ACC, SEC. I think the ACC is more of a basketball. Of course, we know it's more of a basketball program, so they're going to get more transfers in basketball than your SWAC teams will get in SEC. Like the SEC basketball.
Show me the money.
I agree with what you're saying.
I don't care what you get, but go get something and bring it back. Everybody needs to have their leading program. Like, this is like, we owe it to ourselves. You owe it to the rest of the conference. Specifically, if you ever want to have any hopes of bringing back like a real strong MEAC and not having to stay in the CIAA or whatever. I mean, not the CIAA, CAA, whatever it is. If you want to have that conference be the conference that you want everybody to participate in, and that's what we ultimately really want. But we have to bring a product that's good enough where everybody feels like they're getting their fair share, or you have teams like Hampton who are going to say, I have to go somewhere else because I'm not on television, I'm not able to recruit the same way, I'm not able to bring in the same amount of money. So we all have to do our parts. And also, as fans, you got to go to the damn games.
Got to go, man. You got to go. You can't just be, HBCUs. Now, I will say in SWAC, SWAC ain't got no attendance problems. They be there. And you out there in Houston, Prairie View, Texas Southern. Texas Southern ain't that great, but they be there. So, but I'm really looking more, and I understand that, like we said, it's tiers. So we know that not every school is going to have a huge turnout, but you need to go. You need to have full participation from the school. You need to have activities and things for the kids at the school, maybe some giveaways at the stadium, some type of thing other than just the bands, even though the bands for us do it for us, but in order to increase attendance, you got to have some other things going on.
Absolutely.
Let's get off that soapbox because we could go on that one all night long.
That's our thing.
Yeah, stepping on that soapbox, HBCU. I talk about it all day. But moving on, man. Quickly. So in the past, we've talked about Rajah Caruth and the NASCAR, Virginia State having being a NASCAR driver. He's from Virginia State, attended Virginia State. University. He's now making his NASCAR debut. That is a big deal. That's one of the sports we don't have a lot of people. I think we had Bubba Wallace.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about it. So he's making his debut, and we also talked about the FAMU car. We talked about all these other cars. We're now getting the black drivers. So make sure y'all tune in when he makes his debut. We will post about it on Instagram and Twitter, so that you guys know when it is. Y'all make sure y'all tune in. Now I understand NASCAR be like 500 laps in 6 hours, but if you can just tune in, tune out, tune in, tune out. That's what we need you to do.
Share it on Instagram and just cut your TV on. I don't care. We just we have to support each other, or we ain't gonna have
streams. Anything. Get it, stream it, watch it on TV, do whatever. Moving on, man. I want to, before we talk about Taj Green, I want to talk about the reason that game started. Chris Paul, over the last 3 to 5 years, has been an advocate of HBCUs. He attends Winston-Salem State to get his master's degree. He had now been appointed to Joe Biden's advisory board. He has organized the HBCU showcase, and he has now organized the HBCU AllStar game. He is part of the committee that did that as well. So shout out to Chris Paul being appointed to Joe Biden's advisory board for historically Black colleges and universities.
And shout out to the advisory board that Joe Biden put together. It is an excellent collection of people. Don't let that go by the wayside. I think that needs to be pushed to the forefront, all of the members. And yes, thank you, Chris Paul, because you don't have to do this. You're a Wake Forest Demon Deacon alumni. You could be like so many other players, Channing, who are just oblivious, don't pay attention to the HBCU culture, don't support the culture, but to be a part of it, to be a bastion in it, we appreciate it.
And to improve it, getting in at the grassroots level and improving it is something that can be said to not only you, but your character as well. And the reason we talked about Chris Paul, not only that, we want to talk about the HBCU AllStar game that happened. It happened during the NCAA tournament, which is a great thing as well. So while the NCAA tournament was going on, everybody, they got down to the Final Four in New Orleans. On Final Four weekend, they had the HBCU AllStar Showcase, where they had 2 teams of the HBCU AllStars playing a game. And it was very, very entertaining. During the game, halftime, Southern University Human Jukebox showed out. And at the second half, and we want to give a shout out to Taj Green from Benedict College. Shout out, RIP to Big Mama. She taught at Benedict for years. Shout out to Taj Green, MVP of the HBCU AllStar, first annual HBCU AllStar game. And he was actually balling. And he probably will get a look down.
From Rome, Georgia. The kid is 6'8". And I would give him a shot. Also, while we're talking about Benedict, their chapter there just supported their 75th anniversary, Root to the Good Bros. Great college. Great college town, man.
Columbia is a college town.
It is the most colleges of towns. And just everything. We love Benedict. We talk about Benedict all the time. It's another one of those schools that just never gets enough spotlight, never gets enough credit. And they also put out excellent alumni.
They do. And they are 100% invested in that school. That's one school that never has to worry about alumni giving and everything. They got new football teams. They've got a great football coach. They've got great football. They got great athletic facilities, and they're adding to it. And the campus is growing. So shout out to Benedict. Shout out to Chris Paul. Shout out to Jackson State. Shout out to Raja Karu. Shout out to the culture. Shout out to Kayvon Pope for coming home to HBCU culture. We have come to the end of the HBCU for the culture segment. It went a little long, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. And we don't spare any minutes when it comes to, we don't cut nothing off when it comes to the HBCUs. With that being said, we are now going to get into news around basketball, where we're going to talk about the playoff picture and March Madness. That was actually really, really good.
And it was full madness.
Full madness. Y'all stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Around the League edition of episode 51 of the Splash Cast, where we get into our basketball news around the league segment. Got a few things we're going to talk about today. Going to start out with the NBA playoff picture. So, you know that it is coming down to the end of the season. I think most teams have 4 games left. And there's a few things we want to talk about when it comes to the playoff picture. The Heat are the Heat. The Suns are the Suns. But there's one team, there are a few teams that have caught our eyes and a few storylines that have happened that we did not expect. The Grizzlies lost Ja Morant almost a month and a half ago, 2 months. I'm sure if they were in a bad situation, he could have come back and play at about 75%. But there's no reason to bring him back and play. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Right now, the Grizzlies are second in the West, and they have gone in the last 20 games without Ja. They have been 18-2. 18-2. Not only have they gone 18-2, 3J, what is his name? Oh.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, I was about to say Jared Jeffries, and he is way better than him. Jared Jackson Jr. Jared Jackson Jr. is leading the league in blocks. Yes, over Clint Capella, over Rudy Gobert, over Anthony Davis, which he ain't played, but over all of these players,
Joel Embiid,
Jaren Jackson Jr. is squarely in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. This team plays as a team, man.
And it's adult basketball to me. Hey, when our best player is out, a lot of teams will fold. They'll become very childish, like, oh, well, we don't got it tonight. We don't have our leader. Without him, we can't do anything. This is a testament to coaching. This is a testament to wanting to play every game to win, and it is doing them a solid and is preparing them for the offseason. I mean, not the offseason, but the playoffs. And I wish
the thing about
like
this
I'm
is
jealous. I'm jealous. That's what I really.
It's also a testament to their GMs. The GM has put together a really good roster. He's made all the right moves. They have their version of Clint Capella is Steven Adams. He does nothing but play defense and get rebounds.
And a ton of them.
They have Dylan Brooks, who came back. He was hurt for a long time, came back, and I was skeptical about him. I just thought he was just like a dirty, trashy player that talked a lot of trash and screamed. No, he's good. Jeffries, we already talked about him, defensive player. They just have a complete team, and they look like they could be this year's version of the Hawks and make a deep run into the playoffs.
And they play their roles. Nobody gets outside of themselves. Nobody says, hey, this is my night. I got to go out here and put up a bunch of shots. And they play defense.
They play defense. So playing
defense is what separates, especially when you don't have your star. Yes, if you don't have your star, you got to play some damn defense. You just can't give up a bunch of points every night. I know I'm a little triggered, but you have to do that, and they do it.
Yeah, man, they've won 7 in a row. I mean, they're 55-23. So the Grizzlies are a team to watch out for. On the Eastern Conference side, the team that is second in the East in only 2.5 games, although the East is kind of bunched up right now, 2.5 games out of first place that we did not see them coming was the Boston Celtics. Now, there's one team that we talk a lot of trash about. It's the Knicks. The second team outside of the Lakers is the Celtics.
It's me.
We don't like
and
the
it's
Celtics.
me. It's me. I have put the whole foot in my mouth the whole season. I've called them a 2-man team. I said that they just don't have enough players. They don't have a center. And we have a center. And we have a bunch of players. But they play defense. And kudos to them playing good, great team defense, and it shows. The better defense you play, and you play within yourself every night, and everybody sticks to their role, you don't have to have the best players on the floor if you guys play as a team.
And they have
And if
two
I get
creators on offense.
And if I can get here and I can talk all the shit, and I talked a lot of shit about the Celtics. I've been talking shit about the Celtics for like 2-3 years now.
Yep.
Last year I was ahead of the game. I said that they weren't good and they petered out. This year, if I can say what
You were
I'm
ahead of
right,
the game. We said they weren't good. They were like 8th. And
yes.
then they just Jaylen Brown tweeted some shit's about to change. And ever since then, they have gone crazy. One
And
of
we
their
can
go ahead.
We can go ahead and get rid of the Jaylen Brown dreams. He is never going to be
Oh
okay.
yeah, he ain't never leaving Boston. Ever. But
Can't do it.
One of the players that has definitely helped them out, because Boston's biggest weakness was the paint. Interior defense, interior offense. Robert Williams, who can jump out the gym, he's 6'9", but he can jump out the gym. He's second in the league in blocks. Really took a step forward for this team. Unfortunately, he tore his meniscus. So this is what makes them it makes them kind of nervous about that team, is they tore his meniscus and he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, which means he'll be out until May. So in order for him to come back, they will have to make it all the way to the end of the playoffs, really, for him to even think about coming back, assuming that he still has to get in game shape, because he really can't do anything. So, but those teams, that's one end of the spectrum, the Grizz and the Celtics. The other end of the spectrum are the two teams that have these superstars that have put together these rosters, and they have been hot booty butt garbage. It is the Nets. Go ahead.
And I just think about all of the money that Vegas has lost, because they're the odds-on favorite to win. Or maybe
they're supposed to play against each other in the final.
Yes, like that's what I'm gonna be real. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see LeBron and AD
KD.
versus KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. When we get to Ben, we're gonna talk about the James Harden trade.
Oh, we're about to get to it right now. So the thing about the Nets and the Lakers that makes it so funny that they're so bad is, one, as Norwood says, as we've said, you don't let players be the GM. LeBron and KD put these teams together. And the Nets, for example, went and got James Harden, got Kyrie, and didn't work out with James Harden. James Harden is pissed off at Kyrie because Kyrie's wild. Kyrie is saging the court and doing all of these things and skipping. I ain't never seen somebody skip. Like, it's one thing to skip work if you like, you know what, I work at, Target, and I get paid, now I get paid like $25 an hour, $20 an hour. I'm getting paid $1 million a game, $250,000 a quarter. And I just be like, I ain't even gonna go. And then to show up on Skype and just say, you know what, I'm just taking a break. Mental health day, which we are advocate of mental health, but we also don't use it as an excuse.
Yes, and we still believe you got to go to work because there are people at your job that are counting on you.
Instead, and then other things about Kyrie, he comes out controversial, says the earth is flat. Well, let's stay here for a second. Another thing Kyrie does is say a lot of wild stuff in the league, in the media, that brings a lot of unwanted attention to the team. Kyrie, for example, now has been the one thing about being a basketball player is you get rich fans in powerful places. Jeff Bezos has offered Kyrie the chance to go to space so that he can see for himself that the earth is in fact not flat.
Like I said, and Chris Broussard reiterated, because Kevin Durant tried to take the responsibility for the reason the Nets are in the place that they are. He said, my injury is what derailed our season. Chris Broussard said that's factually inaccurate. If you go back to the last episode, I have been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks now. I said it since, James Harden first, they started discussing trades. This is lack of KD conflict management. He let Kyrie run off James Harden. And I'm hoping that the Sixers do well as long as they don't play the Hawks, because KD, you could have stood up and said, hey, Kyrie, you and James, you guys are good enough to figure it out until I get back. Mm-hmm. But due to the fact that they didn't, you've now have this stupid ass trade. And let's bring Ben Simmons into it.
So then not KD. So then the Nets had to get rid of James Harden. He pretty much was phoning it in. He didn't want to be there. The 76ers had a player that they didn't want, and he was phoning it in. And they had a GM who used to be James Harden's GM. So they made a trade. Oh,
so James Harden's frustration is, all right, KD's out. There's nothing we can really do about that. But I came here to win a championship. Kyrie, you got a championship. KD, you have multiple championships. I don't have any championships, and I'm growing longer and longer in the tooth every day. So, KD, I'm not going to be mad with you for being hurt, because when you're available, you play like an MVP. But your boy, but your boy, on the other hand, is not getting vaccinated, and I'm having to go out there and play. And we have to understand that in order for us to have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, that's all we really got. We got some very glorified role players, but you can't ask me to play 50% of these games, just me and the Joe Harrises of the world who ended up getting injured, which is even more tragic. And Kyrie is just sitting at home because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. I can't get in line with that. Exactly. So I understand why James wants out, and everybody's like, man, James just goes places and asks for a trade. No, he saw what I saw. Man, get me to somebody who's trying to win a championship. And my boy Daryl Morey is over there with Philly. And Embiid wants to win.
Embiid wants to win now.
And he's sick of damn Ben Simmons, crying in the car after every game. So they still have some work to do, but I understand all of it.
So then they made a trade, and the trade looked like the 76ers fleeced the Nets because they got James Harden.
They did.
No, I'm sorry. The Nets looked like they fleeced the 76ers.
No, they did.
They got Ben Simmons. They got Seth Curry. And they got a couple other pieces that.
And you got Andre. This is what the trade was.
Andre Drummond.
Yes. Okay. You got Ben, Andre Drummond, Seth Curry, and a first-round pick next season, and a first-round pick in 2027. It is 2022 now. That pick is so far away, it would be negligible. But
I mean, and I'm a little disagreeing with you because I think for both teams with the positions that they were in, it worked out. The 76ers needed a second star to actually play, and that was going to shoot and be a playmaker. And they also needed to get somebody out of the paint to allow Embiid to do his work inside the paint. And
who did they get out of the paint?
Ben Simmons.
When was the last time Ben Simmons was in the paint?
Shut up. You know what I mean. So Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons, and they got Kyrie. James Harden. And then Ben Simmons was supposed to go and play the Draymond Green role where he can just be a playmaker, play defense, and pass the ball to KD and Kyrie and all the shooters and Seth Curry. And they were going to basically stroll to the Eastern Conference Finals and play against the 76ers. But Ben ain't played. Ben, wait. Let me. I'm gonna quote Russell Westbrook. I'm gonna quote Russell Westbrook. Ben Simmons tricked y'all.
He didn't know. No, he didn't. He didn't.
He did.
I'm sure he had to take the physical. And he hasn't played all season. So you get what you deserve. You ended up trading James Harden for Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and really a first next year.
Mm-hmm.
In no world do you do that. And I said that. This is a stupid trade. And they were like,
But it
no,
had to
Ben,
happen though. They had to double down.
and you know what happens when you double down on dumb, son?
You lose.
Lose
So
to the Atlanta Hawks. Now,
so
now you're looking at a 10th seed. And you just gotta hope that you don't end up Lakering that thing out and end up at the very bottom.
Yep. So now there was some interesting news where KD basically said, yeah, the Warriors and Thunder got to retire his jersey, which I agree. The Warrior and the Thunder need to retire KD's jersey. KD made the Thunder relevant. The Warriors won championships and beat LeBron after blowing the 3-1 lead because of KD, where he was the 2-time MVP. So they do have to retire his jersey.
And I know it probably sounds nuts. Kevin Durant played for the Seattle Supersonics.
Seattle. So did Russell Westbrook. Seattle Supersonics.
Yes. So he was the beginning of your franchise.
Very.
And you fumbled it, not him. You fumbled James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, Kevin Durant, somebody else.
Steven Adams.
Yes, and Steven Adams. That's you. That's on you. You owe that man. And I hate to say it, you doubled down on Russ, which is even worse. You did everything wrong. The least you could do is be like, you know what, my bad.
And they had Reggie Jackson off the bench. Man, they had a squad. Jesus. But we're not going to get down that rabbit hole where they messed up. They messed up letting James Harden go and sign Serge Ibaka. But because if they would have had more forethought and foresight.
Okay, yes. You take the first
and I didn't
you know
want to go down the rabbit hole.
Just no, it ain't the rabbit hole ain't but this deep. You'd always pick Kevin Durant and not Russell Westbrook.
No, if you would have kept James Harden, you would have and gotten rid of Serge Ibaka, you could have gotten anybody to play the 4 because Steven Adams doesn't need the ball. You could have gotten anybody to play the 4, and you would have had 3 players that were unstoppable.
At different
you
levels.
had your big 3. KD can hit from anywhere. Russ goes to the hoop, and James can go to the hoop and hit from anywhere. So at that point, that's where they messed up.
That's probably the biggest 3.
They would have ran the league. We wouldn't, and I love Steph Curry. We would we wouldn't. Klay Thompson, all this, and Steph Curry would have been Steph Curry. He would have been the all-time 3-point shooter and would have had all this great stuff. Klay too, but all these rings, if they would have stayed at OKC together, y'all, yeah, right. But moving on back to the other end of the spectrum that we were talking about, the Nets and the Lakers.
The fakers.
Then you got the Lakers, the fakers. You got LeBron, who is now out with the bum ankle. And we know when LeBron is out at the end of the season and he's not coming back, it means they're probably not going to make the playoffs. When he first got to the Lakers and there was some trash, what did he do? He got hurt and sat basically the whole second half of the season. So LeBron is out. The Lakers are in 11th place with 3 games to go. And it looks like they're probably going to lose again. So they're probably not going to make the playoffs. LeBron, you put this team together with AD. Now, AD has had some injuries, and none of them have been minor. That's the part that I don't know if I don't understand, but like you got to look at something's got to change. The training staff, the head trainer, facilities, y'all.
Wait, with who?
Something.
With who? AD?
Yeah.
What season has AD played a reasonable amount of games in?
Contract year.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you, once again, one of the things I say all the time, if there's always a problem with you, then the problem is you.
Yeah.
AD is broke back AD. I hate to say it. He's always injured. Every time.
Broke leg, broke foot, broke back, broke quad.
It's just hurt all the time. And I'm one of those people who think that, especially as things have gone, The only thing that is the saving grace is they won that bubble chip. But I 100% don't.
Oh, that looking cloudy every day,
I
bro.
don't think that bubble chip is real because there's no way the AD plays straight through a season without that big gap. That's also the same time that LeBron had to take a bunch of time off, and you traded away all those assets for that cloudy ass ring. And don't help that Magic threw you under the bus a couple days ago.
Because you were supposed to get DeMar. So now that he said that,
and
I'm
Buddy
glad you
Hield.
brought that up.
And Buddy Hield.
And DeMar DeRozan. I'm glad you brought that up because we said that LeBron put that team together and he should be blamed for it. And then recently, after they started being bad again and falling further and further out of down the list, they said, well, LeBron actually didn't. LeBron actually wanted DeMar, but the Lakers front office wanted Russell Westbrook. Magic went on ESPN 3 days ago and said, or was it yesterday? Might be yesterday, because today's Tuesday, and said, no, that's some BS. DeMar and Buddy were on the way to LA. And I don't mean on the way figuratively. I mean, they were booking flights, looking at places to live.
And no, DeMar's from there. Do not forget that. And the other part is, which Magic is 100% right in, is bringing Westbrook made them have to trade all of their defense away.
All of their defensive players, Caruso, and they had to keep Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. But it's the Lakers are, and you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to trade Westbrook and package him with the 2027 first round pick because they don't have any other picks. They have to trade all the picks.
They're trying not to trade that pick because remember, again, Buddy was available at the trade deadline, and they didn't want to trade the 27 pick because by that point, you expect basically this whole team to have retired. The only person who probably still be in the league at that point is THT, and I think that he'll probably be in the G.
Malik Monk. Yeah, Malik Monk.
Yes.
So,
but they tried to hold on to the pick, which the only thing that they've done to hold on to the pick is sink themselves for sure. And now they're fighting to get into the play-in, and I think they play tonight. And I think they play tonight. Yes, and LeBron is out.
Well, as I said, LeBron ain't gonna play if they're not gonna make the playoffs. So that he ain't gonna do that. And then they'll say, well, LeBron was out, so that's why they didn't make the playoffs. It's a very well constructed narrative.
Wait, but you remember the April Fool's joke?
He
was like, LeBron's not coming back. I told you the shit wasn't funny. You play too damn much.
Yep. But moving on, man. And then we wanted to cover this really quickly before we get to the Hall of Fame class. Man, the Jazz. So the Jazz are in the playoffs as of now. I think they're pretty much locked in.
They're a six. Yeah, they're a 6 seed. They're 16 games back. They're 46-32. But let me tell you one thing that we have been watching develop. That team is a ticking time bomb.
Kaboom! They about to blow it up. Boy, they about to blow that mug all the way up.
This is all started. Well, I don't think that they were the best of friends before. But after what really started the bubble.
And the COVID?
Yes. I thought she was really sick. I'm like, oh Lord.
That boy's coughing up
you from over there. But yes, when Rudy wanted to be funny and touch everything, and then they found out that he really had COVID, that almost got Donovan Mitchell out of there. At that very moment, he was pissed about that. But Utah is a team that struggles with getting players. You have to draft players because free agents aren't really interested in coming to Utah because of a myriad of reasons. Yes, a myriad of reasons we've covered on this very podcast. So, and that ain't good because math. That's a discussion that you have to Google for yourself. Yeah, yes, he can. He can add and subtract. He knew the number wasn't right, whatever it was. But with that said, at this point, There's so many different things going on.
Ah.
But Donovan
sorry.
Donovan Mitchell has been rumored to want out and specifically probably be interested in going to New York.
He's
I was a
from
big
what, Maryland? He's from Maryland, right?
I'm not sure, but I
He's from the
know New
East Coast.
York.
I know he's from the East Coast.
Yes, I was a person who thought that Josh should be should be trying to head to New York. I think he's found a home in Memphis, and I think that if you can't get Ja, getting Donovan Mitchell over there with RJ Barrett starts you with something that you can build on.
Yeah, and for those that don't believe us, because we have brought this up before about the Jazz, and it was like, yo, Donovan Mitchell don't really fuck with Rudy Gobert.
No.
Trae Young has 151 assists to Clint Capella this year. 151 assists.
That is
not
where
passes,
one man,
not running the play.
Yes.
I pass you the ball and you score assists. Versus Donovan Mitchell has passed the ball to Rudy Gobert this season 151 times. Not scoring plays, this includes inbounds, this includes if they score, this includes everything. Donovan Mitchell has passed the ball 151 times to Rudy Gobert. For those that don't know the math, they've played almost 82 games. That's averaging 2.3 assists. 2.3 passes to him per game, i.e., one pass a half. You're all pro, all defensive, 7 foot, 1 million Frenchman center. You pass him the ball one time.
And it has never been more evident than in the very last game that Utah played the Warriors. It's the end of the game, and they run a play, and Donovan has the ball. Rudy is in the post, comes off the wing into the post because he sees the only person in the post is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, good defender, possible great defender, depends on who you ask. Nothing that he can do with 8 feet tall Rudy Gobert other than pray to all of the gods that anybody has ever thought about. Just can't stop him. Klay is literally, if you watch the play, he's standing there going, help, like, I can't do anything with this dude. Donovan Mitchell looks him off. I'm talking about a smooth. He should have, this is, I guess you can't fight him because you guys are still going into the playoffs. This is a fightable offense.
Messing with my money now. I could have got an easy 2 points right there.
You've gone past messing with the money. We're trying to win a championship, or I'm trying to win a championship. And you saw me and decided not to throw me the ball at 7 feet when you couldn't even see Klay Thompson. So it looked like I was standing under there by myself. And there's also been rumor, especially with the Lakers, trying to blame everything on Frank Vogel, that Quinn Snyder, who is a good coach and a lot of players like him, is rumored to possibly be one of the coaches who could be headed to the Lakers, either him or Doc Rivers. And if you lose Quinn Snyder and you lose Donovan Mitchell, what you got left?
Trade Gobert. Might as well trade Gobert. So
you can't afford to trade him because how you gonna get somebody as good as him?
Draft. I don't know. But I don't really care about Utah. You can talk about it. I don't care. It's funny to me. But moving on, man. Lastly, we do want to acknowledge the Basketball Hall of Fame. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame announces its 13 members of the 2022 class. Tim Hardaway Sr., one of the fastest crossovers of all time. George Karl, Swin Cash, Bob Huggins, Hugh Evans, Lindsey Whalen, Olympic gold medalist, Marianne Stanley. I think it's Marianne. My grandmother pronounces it Marianne, but it's Marianne. And then the last person who Norwood said does not deserve, Mr. Manu Ginobili. Ginobili is going to the Hall of Fame. And I don't see how he could not be in the Hall of Fame after his resume. But, we'll leave that to them, whatever.
My beliefs on Manu Ginobili is, and a lot of times people misconstrue this. This is the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Basketball is the only Hall of Fame that takes into account your entire basketball career. Manu has played professionally for Argentina. He's also been one of the most pivotal people on the what boy? Boy, fuck you. I'm gonna say what I wanted to. I tried to censor myself, and I was like, you know what? And I think that in order for him to make it, I think that all those things needed to be accounted for. I'm okay with that, but yes, Manu is Manu to me. His time at the Spurs, he was a very good, good role player, but a very good role player.
So I believe, yes, I agree with you. That definitely added to him getting in, especially I think his first ballot. I think his Argentinian career made him get in first ballot. I think his NBA career, he would have gotten in regardless, because there's not many players that have 5 rings that played a pivotal role that don't make it to the NBA. I mean, to the Hall of Fame. You have Robert Horry, who is not in the Hall of Fame. You have Steve Kerr, who will not be in the Hall of Fame for his playing. He'll be in the Hall of Fame for his coaching.
He's in the Manu category. My entire career is what makes me a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but Manu was a better player than Steve Kerr. So at that point,
I will give you that.
I will say that Manu deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. But regardless, we're not going to debate it now. He got in. Kudos to all of them for getting into the Hall of Fame regardless. With that being said, we're going to move on to March Madness real quickly, because we're going to move on to college basketball. For those that don't know, St. Peter's made it all the way to the Elite Eight, I want to say. Yes. Elite Eight. Shaheen Holloway was their head coach. For those that don't know who Shaheen Holloway was, Shaheen Holloway was in the McDonald's High School All-American game with one Kobe Bean Bryant. So he was the truth. Went to Seton Hall. He is now the
Wait. He was also the MVP of that game.
He was.
Not Kobe Bean Bryant. Rest in peace.
He was a beast.
But to be in that game and to be the MVP, that ain't no slouch.
Nope.
You need to put MVP on my name.
He is now going back to his alma mater and becoming the head coach at Seton Hall. So kudos to Shaheen, because they had a deep run, and he's been a good coach for a while. Apparently, he's been on everybody's radar, and this just confirms.
Hire black coaches.
Yep.
Hire. If there's a running theme to this college basketball segment, hire black coaches.
Yep. So then we had the Final Four in the NCAA championship. We talked about Duke, North Carolina in the ATL pregame. That was a hell of a game. Coach K got ushered on out of there. But Kansas had a really good team this year. UNC and Kansas played in the national championship game. And that game was one of the better games I'd seen in a while. Unfortunately, UNC came up short. They were up 16 points at halftime. 16 points.
Largest lead in college basketball history for a championship game.
And Kansas came out, and was the game on when we were taping?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was on.
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh, they down 16. I was like, shoot, Carolina out here playing. And then Kansas just realized that they're bigger and faster than them and put the clamps on them. And I just saw the lead. They erased that 16-point lead in like 4 minutes. And it was back and forth.
And I will say, UNC had a run of really unfortunate injury after injury after injury.
Man, in the last 10 minutes of the game.
And we've given Hubie Brown his fair share of hell for his comments. I want to say he coached a damn good game. And I want to say his players played to the very end. And they went into the press conference and held their heads up high like real men.
I like
And
them Duke players.
yes. And, if we can get in here and talk some shit about you, we're going to be the same people to tell you, hey, when you do a good job, you did a good job. And you look like you coach real men. And to that, we respect and appreciate.
I will say, I think UNC is back up there. They will be back up there in the ACC. They kind of had a little valley in their reputation, but that dude, his name is Bacot. I think is Beckett is his name.
Whatever it is, if he
he's
can
a
get some more
beast.
offensive game, he's gonna be dangerous.
He had over 100 rebounds in 5 games. That's almost 20. I think he averaged 21 rebounds a game in the tournament. And I'm not gonna lie to you, and we try not to use injuries as excuses. When the game got close and it was back and forth, once he got hurt, you could see the deflation in UNC. UNC also had Johnson.
He got hit so hard.
He got hit so hard. He threw up on the court. So
got one to the stomach, which is
he was
and
out,
still
he was
went back out
player.
there and went back out there and gutted it out. If you've ever really been hit, taking a blow to the stomach, it knocked the wind out of you. I've never been hit so hard that I needed to throw up, which is already humbling enough because you've ever had the wind knocked out of you. You like, oh, is this death that I'm meeting? That's what it feels like. And for him, he went down, threw up on the floor. You could see he was angry. He didn't even want to come off the floor, came back and gave a valiant effort. And when you get
didn't have it after that, though.
Yeah. Once you get the wind knocked out of you, air is very important to your life. Mm-hmm. And for him to go out there and still play hard and just not have it, it's unfortunate. They got something to build on. They got some high character players over there.
100%, man. So congratulations to Kansas. They have a reputation of never being able to win the big game. I think the last time they won, they beat Memphis in the national championship game against Derrick Rose, and it was Mario Chalmers that hit that big 3. I was so mad. I wanted Memphis to win so bad. But so shout out to them.
And remember, before the COVID March Madness was canceled, this was one team that was like a number 1 ranked team. They were supposed to be going on their way to winning championship, and then it ended. And this is out of the men's, and now we can move over to the women's.
Woo! Y'all
the university
respect on her name.
Yes, University of South Carolina. It does put a nice little bow on everything because they were another number 1 team that was in that March Madness that was canceled, and to see them come back and win a championship.
They just lost. They lost to Stanford last year.
No, the COVID year, not last year.
Oh, 2000. Yeah.
2020. The one that was canceled. They were on their way. So, to see both of those teams who not necessarily got robbed, but things just went unfortunately, to have an opportunity to redeem themselves and come back and win championships. That's what you do a good program.
Staley, y'all better put some respect. We calling her Queen Dawn from now on. Queen Dawn out here. She's already in the Hall of Fame as a basketball player because she won national champ. She's a 6-time WNBA All-Star, 2-time ABL All-Star, Honda Sports Award, Naismith Player of the Year 91 and 92, ACC Player of the Year 91 and 92. She's 2-time NCAA Division champion coach. She's reached the Final Four every year that she's been in South Carolina. She is out of this world, and I didn't even get to her Olympic career, where she's won multiple gold medals.
3-time gold medalist.
Dawn Staley has been playing.
Wait, you're missing some off her resume. She is the highest paid women's coach in the world. Yes. And if you go back to an episode where we named Securing Bags and Kicking Ass, that was named after her. Now we're naming this one after her because she is our queen. And it ain't nothing you can do with her.
It's nothing you can. And what's even more impressive about this win is they were a tip away. Uh, pause. They were a tip away from being 3-time champions. They won. Then Stanford won last year when they missed the layup at the end. And then this year was utter domination. And then they had to play the big dog. And everybody know who's the big dog when it comes to, or should I say the big husky? Everybody know who's the big husky when it comes to women's basketball. It's Gino Auriemma and UConn. Everybody else is trying to catch up, right?
Yep.
Tennessee was good for a little bit, right? Notre Dame
They were good for a long time,
but they couldn't beat UConn. They couldn't get past you. They couldn't beat UConn. Notre Dame, good for a little bit, right? Stanford's been there. Yeah, he was 11-0. If he makes it to the championship game, he don't.
Oh, he gonna win it. Yeah,
he gonna win it. Except for this year, Queen Dawn had them girls out there, and they dominated them from the jump. And I wanna point something out. Queen Dawn had them out there made up. Wasn't no hair out of place. When the makeup was there, if they wore makeup, whatever they decided to do, she had them presentable, and you could tell that they were ready to make endorsement deals as well, because she knew she sees the moment.
And there are two more things. Number one, I don't know if y'all be checking the fits. Dawn do not miss. Her sneaker game is impeccable. And if you listen to the pod a lot, I'll show y'all my sneaker head. Every now and then, she kills it. And that's just something I love. Also, I watched the acceptance speech afterwards, and she did something that I have never seen a coach do before. She said, hey, we have player of the year. We have all these players get highlighted every week. And you just see them all the time. And she says they're like 7 or 8 girls who really don't get a moment to play. They don't really get any notoriety, but they come and practice their ass off every day. And without them, we wouldn't be who we are. They prepare us to play every team, and they give it all they got. And real reality, if you're doing that every game, you could have probably went somewhere else and played basketball.
I was like, yo, and they probably will be starting in most of these other schools.
Exactly. So for those girls to go out there and give it all they got just to make everybody better so that you can play as a team and win a championship. And she highlighted all of them and took a moment. I've seen 100 million men championships in every sport. The guys who get out there and gut it out don't get a high five. Don't get a, hey, have you ever seen this guy before? This is one of our hardest working players. And Dawn is a class act. South Carolina, you spend a lot of money, but you are seeing the return on your investment in droves. And once again, like I said at the beginning of this segment, hire Black coaches. Shaheen Holloway, he kicked ass. Hubie kicked ass. Dawn kicked ass.
And the thing about Dawn is, and I'm a homer, they gonna be probably better next year.
Oh, Gino, buckle up, buddy.
They gonna be better because they got the National Player of the Year that went to Westlake High School, who tore her ACL just sitting in the cut.
That's a double time homer for you, Westlake and South Carolina. Oh my God.
So y'all better buckle up for Queen Dawn. And Queen Dawn, just know if that's been coined, that came from the Splashcast.
Absolutely.
Now, so shout out to all of the teams. Yeah. Shout out to the champions. Shout out to the Lakers and Nets for giving us stuff to laugh about. And with that being said,
that's dastardly as hell. Hey man, thank you for allowing us to laugh at your pain.
Yeah, everybody does it. They just don't admit it. So with that being said, I know this was a long segment, but this, I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of basketball, man. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty of basketball. And when we talked about football, and we got down to the nitty-gritty of football when everything mattered. It was a long episode then, too. Y'all can pause. Go get you something to drink, get your little snack, and press play. So with that being said, we are now going to get into our football segment. Where we're going to talk about these teams being forced now to hire minority coaches or held to the standard of giving minority coaches a fair shake. And then we got some other stuff we're going to talk about too, man. Y'all stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Around the League edition of episode 51 of the Splash Cast, where we're now going to get into our third segment of the episode, the football segment, news around the NFL. Got a few things we're going to talk about today.
Ball time.
Foosball, as they call it at the Water Boy. Big news that came out of the NFL. Of course, you know the big news. Yeah. The expansion of the Rooney Rule is kind of a big deal. So for all of you that know about the Rooney Rule and the controversy that is surrounding Brian Flores, the Rooney Rule came into effect where you had to interview at least one minority person for a coaching vacancy. The problem is they were interviewing minority coaches. Oftentimes they would do it last. Oftentimes they would interview them and not take it seriously and have already picked their candidate, i.e. The Giants picking Brian Dabo before they even interviewed Brian Flores, which then spurned, or I'm sorry, spurned, that's the wrong word. That then started the
He was spurned. He was for sure spurned.
It was spurned Brian Flores, but it started the entire
avalanche.
That's a good word
what
for
it
it.
was.
Avalanche of shit that has hit the NBA. So in response, NBA, NFL. So as a result, and to me, we'll get into it. The NFL expanded the Rooney Rule to where all 32 teams will hire a minority offensive assistant coach for the 2022 season. That means the coach can be a female or a member of an ethnic or racial minority, i.e. not white. With the goal of increasing minority participation in the pool of offensive coaches that will eventually produce the most sought-after candidates for head coaching positions, because most of the coaches that have been hired recently are offensive-minded coaches. So
this is tricky, man. It's tricky.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'll let you go.
It's some bullshit.
Yes, that's your take, and mine as well. But to me, this is an admission of guilt. When you do something like this in response to a lawsuit alleging malpractice and discrimination,
and then want to take that lawsuit in arbitration so that they can handle it behind closed doors. Yes, that together paired looks very weird. Yeah,
I was literally about to say that. Like, when you do all of those things, it looks like a cover up. Yeah, we've been potting for a while now. That looks like a cover up. While on the surface it is a step in the right direction, the foundation of it is tricky. The foundation of it is shaky because you're building this rule and expanding this rule as a result of all 32 owners doing some bullshit. Right. Go ahead.
I don't want to hate the rule. I want the rule to work. But that the rules only work if the people behind them are serious about changing their actions.
Got to be invested.
They're not. They're just going to find another way to circumvent this. And you're just going to have people toiling in. I mean, they're going to get to like mid-level positions and be stuck. There's still no concerted interest at the top. How many black owners are there?
They have to work with directly with the head coach. So it's basically affirmative action for the NFL.
Okay. Do you think that affirmative action has really helped us that much? Do you see equality in your workplace? Let's ask that question.
not at the very well.
For the city that you live in. For the city that you live in.
I live in the
do
South.
You think...
No.
Okay.
I live in the South.
Okay. All right. Same thing, right? So yeah, you can go out there and you can have some of these jobs, but the jobs at the top to make the decisions, no chance. Not gonna happen. And if you notice, they always want to do this bottom up. There's still no interest in putting, 3 or 4 people of color, women into ownership, because that's where their money is at, and that's where the control is at.
That's where the control is. The money is going to be there, right? You're the NFL at this point.
And no, the money is going to be there, but there's different levels of money. So yeah, you could have one of these other jobs and make the money, but the people at the very top who are making the money hand over foot and not even putting out, a lot of times legitimate teams are making all of the money.
Yeah, I was gonna say the money is in there, and the NFL is more. It's like the NFL. Really, the 4 major sports are just as ingrained in the economy as utilities or as infrastructure improvement. Like they provide a large number of jobs.
Man, yes, and at the very bottom, the Black and brown people work. The higher up, the fewer and fewer people of color you see, you get to a point where they're non-existent. I expect this to be more of the same. I'm not going to suddenly believe this. I hope that other people get some jobs, but I don't think that this is going to change the rule. Because if you really wanted to change the rule, you would. I mean, if you wanted to change how things were governed, and if you wanted people to have true opportunities, then you wouldn't need a rule, and you sure as hell wouldn't need a rule for the rule. We'll be here in 10 years to add another rule for the rule for the rule.
So the more I read about this, they're really focusing on women and Black people in coaching. But it's almost like bait and switch, because they're not, like you said before, they're not talking about ownership at all. And you have the Denver Broncos that are literally looking for an owner, right? Looking for somebody to buy the team, and it has nothing addressing minorities in an ownership level.
And I don't want this to be taken the wrong way for women, but this league is built on Black men. They should be given, and this is a job where you legitimately are risking your life. Mm-hmm. They should be giving the top tier protocol of first come, first serve when it comes to these jobs. But I don't know why I expect anything different. And boy, God forbid you be a Black woman, where you're gonna fall in this. Even in this new hierarchy, exactly where you fall. And all of this, to me, it's pissing and telling me that it's raining. I guess that I'm cool with it, because I'm not cool with the alternative, but I ain't gonna say that I'm excited or expect any change.
Yeah, the NFL has a long-standing reputation of a lot of show,
and
a lot of saying, a lot of words, and then the actions fall short.
And let's be very clear: if the NFL was really concerned about any of this, let's never forget Kaepernick was fired, and Joe Flacco has a fucking
for
job.
Nothing. Kaepernick is fired for nothing.
Joe Flacco is still playing in the NFL and has never been good in the regular season. Even at the peak of his career, he was hot garbage in regular season. And Kaepernick, for the most part, has never really been a bad football player.
And then they painted and we're gonna spiral, but then they painted a narrative about Kaepernick that he was a bad football player. And I was like, that's not this. Do you watch it? And this is where I was at work, and I had to, step back. I was like, do y'all actually watch football? Do y'all actually watch football? Who's your favorite team? The Jets. Shut up. That's the first thing I say when my favorite team is the Jets. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth
J-E-T,
right now.
Jets. Jets foolish. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much.
I was gonna say Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman had a job, and he threw 5 interceptions in a quarter.
Peterman, Adam Gase. They specialize in it. You think that they would be so tired of losing, they would see if they could get some black people to maybe win. They should be happy. You know what? And then they did have Herm, and he was good for them.
They fired him. You don't get the leash of failure that whites, Anglos get. So
man, let's talk about something else. You're gonna do nothing but make me mad, and I'm not drinking no more until my birthday.
That's a lie. Retirings galore. So, kind of offset of the Rooney Rule discussion is Bruce Arians retired.
Did not expect that at all.
At all. Bruce Arians retired shortly after Tom Brady announced his return. But if you want to keep it in the subject of the expansion of the Rooney Rule, Bruce Arians, if you could talk about somebody that's an ally, it's him. He had a black offensive coordinator, a black defensive coordinator, a black special teams coach. He basically had an all-black staff. He had a black female coach, or had because he retired, a black female coach.
But remember, he's retired from coaching, moved into the front office. He's not done with football.
So he basically is like, I don't want to. And if you want to have my honest opinion of why he retired, he just didn't want to deal with Tom. Tom Brady retired because now that more news is coming out, it's rumors saying that Tom Brady retired because he didn't like how Bruce Arians was running the team. Bruce Arians was kind of running the team. In college football, we call it the CEO coach. It's like Dabo Sweeney, right? You don't actually coach a position. You're not an offensive or defensive coach. You're just there. You oversee. So Bruce Arians, and he's an older coach, so I understand it. He would get Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles. They would come up with the game plan. He would come in and he would tweak it.
Delegate. That's what.
But Tom Brady wanted his coach to be more involved, like Bill Belichick. Which is funny, you don't want him, he left because you didn't want to be with Bill Belichick.
He wanted the involvement, but he wanted the respect. I can understand. And I hate to say it, Arians wasn't really giving him all the respect in the world either. He definitely threw him under the bus. But he's not.
We can talk about that if you want to. This is what I hate about Anglo quarterbacks that are really good. They get all the praise. When shit is going well. Tom Brady wins a great game and has a comeback. It'd be 6 days of Tom Brady, 6 days of Peyton Manning, 6 days of Drew Brees. They go out there and throw 3 interceptions and have a bad game and the defense wins the game. It'd be, if you really want to talk about it, but we don't have to talk about it. But Tom Brady really wasn't that good that game. And then they go, and that's it.
We played football before. That's one of the things that come with the quarterback.
And I don't like it. I'm not gonna say you're right. That comes with it. That's some bullshit. That I don't like that. So you can't say you're not showing me respect because you threw say I threw you under the bus when all I'm really doing is holding you accountable. You threw 3 interceptions in the NFC Championship game, and if it wasn't for the defense, you would not win the Super Bowl. You can't say that, and you can't get mad at me and say, "Well, Tom actually threw 3 interceptions, kind of on him."
Okay,
down, and the defense
I got pushback on that because Tom Brady didn't throw him under the bus when he was trying to tell Bruce Arians, hey, this is the way that we need to play. And Bruce Arians started the season out with Bruce Arians ball. And then after the bye week, they started playing Tom Brady ball and they looked like a different team. He was the one that said, hey, man, I need to send people into motion so I can see what defense they're truly in. Hey, we need to move the ball and throw the ball within the first 3 seconds of the snap. That's all Tom Brady ball that he brought. Was coaching the team. He fundamentally changed how their offense ran after the bye week. And he didn't throw him under the bus like, hey, Bruce Arians got me out here looking like a fucking dickhead. He was like, hey, man, I'm Tom Brady. I'll fix it on the run. And he fixed it. And when he fixed it, he could have went back and, hey, this is all Bruce. I've been wanting to do this from day one, and I only wanted to do this from day one because I'm only the best quarterback of all time. Maybe I have a clue about maybe this job. Maybe you had Jameis throwing 50 million, 11 interceptions. 30
interceptions and 30 TDs.
Exactly. But I try to tell you something to do, and you say, no, you're right. And then when I tell you what to do, then see,
Got you mad.
See, I'd have had just enough time to play quarterback that I know. I'm like, that was me, not you. But nope.
Well, I
And
mean,
after
that's
that, I went to play
can't say
receiver.
that's
Throw
a
me the
valid
ball,
point.
and I shut up.
That's a
No, I
valid
won't,
point.
but-
It's a valid point. It's a valid point. Tom Brady chose not to say anything, but it don't negate the fact that what Bruce Arians said was true.
If you extend grace and mercy to somebody, you expect them to extend it back. And if you don't,
You hope they extend it back.
okay, then don't. And I'll show. Well, see, that's the difference between Tom Brady and me and Will Smith. Some of us will act ass, and some of us will be like, you know what? I will just make it uncomfortable where you decide to retire.
So you're Will
And
Smith.
to a, I mean, okay, let me clarify that because I didn't like what Will Smith did. Will I show out? Absolutely. At the point where I feel like I've expressed myself and you take and you don't either acknowledge it or you disrespect my expression, then here we are. Let's dance. I will be your Huckleberry, and if you've ever seen Tombstone, you know what I'm talking about.
There's a saying. My wife listens to the podcast with that chick Angel, who is part of Kev on Stage. We're big Kev on Stage fans in our household.
Me too.
I think they call it The Bald and the Beautiful is the name of their podcast, where it's that chick Angel, her husband, Kev on Stage, and his wife. The two husbands are bald, and then they have the wives, i.e. bald and beautiful. The saying that that chick Angel's husband was like, I'm all for what Will Smith did in the moment because you disrespected my wife, and I'm here. Listen, wherever you pitch the tent is where we gonna have the circus, is what he said. So he said, look, you decided to pitch the tent on the national stage at the Academy Awards. I just decided to be the clown with you and handle it accordingly. You can't get mad that you pitched the tent and the circus happened where you pitched the tent. So that's what you saying. Like, hey, if I understand what you're saying correctly, you're saying, hey,
yes,
I'm gonna bring it to wherever you brought it.
But if I don't sell you in a moment when you could have been sold, then you sure as hell better not sell me. And if you do, I will honestly probably never trust you again, and I'll probably tell that to your face. I'll tell you right to your face.
That probably happened, and that's Tom Brady was like, "That's the only way I'm gonna come back." And
no, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back, but let's be very realistic about this. If he comes back, I'm not coming back. If I don't come back, you're playing with Kyle Trask. Who do you think gives you a better chance to win a Super Bowl? Barbecue or mildew? And think about this. How do you feel like I'm going to tell the team too? I want to tell just enough people that they know. So the team going to look at you and say, And before you do that, call Robert Kraft. And ask him how that worked out for him.
True. But we got to keep it moving.
Yeah, we got into a real pod discussion.
That was a good discussion.
That's podcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
But also in news that, I mean, he's a great dude. I think he's your frat brother.
Yes.
Great dude. I don't really like him professionally because he played for every team that broke my heart as a Falcons fan. Malcolm Jenkins retired. Had a great year. Had a great career. Won a Super Bowl with the Saints, right?
Correct.
Or was he? Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with the Saints. With the Eagles, came back to the Saints. I remember him. I'm old enough to remember him at Ohio State.
That too.
And he played cornerback. And I was like, hey, he's a little slow to be corner. And the best move of his career, he moved to safety and became All-Pro.
Yep.
So, shots out on a great career. You broke my heart as a Falcons fan many a times. You also made me smile because we burnt you a lot too now.
It comes with the territory.
Yep. Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
A cusper, but yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah, but probably
he'll get in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be some guys who you're gonna have to strongly consider. Your Richard Shermans, your Earl Thomases, but I think that he's been good enough.
I think Earl has off the field himself out of the Hall of Fame.
I hate that. It's such a hater ass move. I hate the NFL.
It's gonna happen.
The NFL hates itself. It really
come on,
does.
man. Terrell Owens they literally didn't vote him in because they didn't like him. He's literally probably the top 3 receiver of all time, and they didn't vote him in because they didn't like him. He was not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Is he top 3? I mean, he's in the conversation. At worst, top 5. And if he's top 5, you're first ballot. If you're top 5 in any position, open the doors, let the man in. Don't be a hater. And they were definitely a hater. I'm glad he stuck it to him and didn't participate in their Hall of Fame ceremony. He had his own. He said, "Hey, man, y'all wanted to play these
my
games?"
College. Yep. So, shout out to Malcolm Jenkins. Bruce Arians moved on. But one thing we didn't cover about Bruce Arians, they got ahead of this rule and they promoted Todd Bowles to head coach. So, shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Another guy who was a good coach and deserves another opportunity.
Railroaded.
And I do want to, whatever happened with him and Tom Brady, I don't care, because thank you for leaving a black coach with a team. That just never happened. I don't think that I've ever seen a coach other than maybe in Mike Tomlin. I don't think that they were the best at that point. I don't remember any black coach being like, "Oh, I got a good team," and sure as hell not a great quarterback.
No, Mike Tomlin. No, yeah, he got a good team because he inherited prime Ben Roethlisberger and Santonio Holmes, who with James Harrison that was instrumental in winning the 2008.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But yeah, for me, that is the biggest thing: the transition, like not leaving the cupboard bare. Yeah, not leaving the cupboard bare, not leaving, just not leaving the coach, being like, "Hey, figure it out," like typically happens.
That's what we're always relegated to. Black coaches are always relegated to fix this dumpster fire, and then they go get the white knight. So, again,
who do you know would do anything like that? Maybe Brian Flores and multiracial.
Multi to the sundial,
multiracial McDaniel. I forgot his name. I be trying to forget him every day. I promise.
That man. I mean, whatever. Moving on, man. There has been some movement. There has been some movement in the NFL.
You say his offense is not going to be a lot of running. It's going to be a lot of passing.
Boy, you ever seen somebody like try to blot some shit out on their resume? You just trying to blot out that other side. We're going to smear this black ink on over here. Get some white out. But moving on. Well, hell no. We said that. He said, yeah, I've never not acknowledged my black side. Yeah, he never acknowledged it. He never acknowledged it. Do you know how hard you have to search to find a picture of his daddy?
Yeah, I think they have people who they specifically pay to block out
Scrub the ground, son. Scrub the ground. I'm turned up, y'all. I took a 3-hour nap today by accident. I got a whole lot of energy. Moving on, man. There's been some movement in the NFL. The Browns, the whole Deshaun Watson thing.
That ain't a movement. That's lack of movement. That's constipation.
Well, they got Deshaun, and now they have the most expensive backup quarterback in history that does not want to be there.
I love it.
Baker Mayfield, who I don't like. So this is just laughter for me. And he thought he was better than he was, which you have to have that. I will say, because you made that point, you have to have that chip on your shoulder arrogance that I'm better than everybody to make it to where he is as a 5'10" quarterback.
Double walk-on quarterback.
That took multiple jobs.
Yes. His college career is something to be respected.
It should be
his professional career is something to be rejected. And I was a big Baker fan because I like guys like that who like, you know what? Nah, I'll fix it. I'll fix it myself. Y'all don't want this to happen, Cliff Kingsbury? I'll go over here to Oklahoma and win me a Heisman. And I like that. I like players like that because there's so many guys, so many AAU ass kids now who just I'll tell my parents or I'll cry in the car type. Nah, I'll go somewhere else and I'll walk on. Like I'm not gonna force you to be like, oh no, this guy's a starter. No, I'm gonna walk on. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So it's interesting what's gonna happen in Cleveland. That he doesn't even want to show up and he requests. You know how humbling it is to request a trade and everybody said, "Nah, I'm good." Everybody.
Well, I don't think
everybody. No. Everybody said, "No, I'm good," including the Panthers.
Yes, but let me try to think of something, a good way to okay, 1997 Nissan Altima. Would you pay $20,000 for that?
In 1997?
No, right now.
Oh,
okay, because you know the value is not there. Mm-hmm. They know that they have already gotten Deshaun and they got Baker. I'll wait for you to cut him. I'm not going to pay for something when I can get it cheap. It's a negotiation.
He's in 1990. So Baker Mayfield is in 1997.
He's an asset that everybody knows. Yeah, he is depreciated asset for sure. But they know that the Browns, this situation is untenable. So I'll just let y'all play it out. You know how sometimes you be dealing with somebody and you try to tell them something and they hard-headed and you be like, you know what? I'll let you figure it out for yourself. They know that eventually they're probably just going to have to cut him or do something, or you have to give him away. That's the reason I told you. I'm starting out asking for a 6th-round pick for Baker. I'm not giving you anything near value, and I know you got to give it up. Nah, I'll wait. And it's a waiting game now.
It is. And I don't know where he's going to end up, honestly. I think what's going to happen is the Browns are going to come up because they're just going to wait. They're good until something happens. And I think somebody's going to get hurt or somebody's going to underperform or something. And the Browns are going to end up getting they're going to end up getting like a 4th round, a Matt Ryan type trade, a 3rd round, 4th round pick for him. It's going to happen.
And because that's what, it's a foregone conclusion. Injuries or somebody will be in a situation where they will become desperate. And at that point, then it'll be like, I'll give you a 4 for it because I need a quarterback so that I don't look like I'm wasting the rest of my team's season. And you need to get rid of this guy. But I'm not going to give you a first.
The interesting thing with that is, Baker has requested a trade and does not want to be there, meaning he may not show up for camp. Deshaun is probably still going to be suspended. So they are now, and they already signed. Who did they sign as the backup?
Jacoby
Brissett, right?
Yeah.
So Baker is probably getting the Ben Simmons situation. He's probably going to get fined a lot for not showing up.
No, he'll go. I think he'll go. I think it's in Baker's best interest to go and make it uncomfortable for everybody there.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you just need to go suck all the air out of the room? You know what? I'll make it so uncomfortable in here that y'all will be like, it's time for him to get the hell. And God forbid, I'll Jimmy Butler this thing. Give me the 2s. I'm out here to kick ass. And if you really think you're that good anyway, I'm gonna beat your 1s and talk shit.
Now that would be the greatest move he could do. Give me the 2s and 3s in the practice squad, and we're gonna go out here in this scrimmage and we're gonna beat y'all ass the whole practice.
Hey, y'all gonna win without me? You gonna win without me? How? These guys can't stop me, and y'all got Deshaun from him. And I hate to say it, but he got them allegations over there waiting.
Yep. But all right,
I know how to get thrown out of places if I know anything.
Moving on, man. So the Rams are the Super Bowl champions. Les Snead won the Super Bowl in an unconventional way. He traded. They don't have a 1st-round pick until what, 2027?
I don't think he cares where. Just the only thing that you can't do is don't Laker yourself.
So he doesn't have a 1st-round pick until 2027. It's a little different in the NFL because there's so many rounds. There's 7 rounds. So it still stings, but it doesn't hurt as bad. But when you make moves the way he's making moves, You ain't got to.
I don't understand how they always have million. Like they just have money. I don't know where their money goes. I don't know how they keep finding these. The Falcons, we paid 2 people and was broke for the rest of our lives. They pay everybody. It's also LA though. Some people would just come there for free.
I'm gonna say it's the same salary cap, but they so they have signed Bobby Wagner, who was cut,
you telling me that the Rams and the Falcons got the same salary cap, and we paid Matt Ryan and Julio, and we've been broke for perpetuity.
Oh, we also paid,
broke this year.
Listen, we paid you burying the lead, but we paid Debo. Remember, we paid Debo. We paid Grady originally. We also paid a lot of people that did not pan out. We paid Jake Matthews again. You know, we paid a lot of people, and that's the Julio and all of that and Matt Ryan contract sucked but what sucked about that was really the structure, kicking the can down the road with Matt Ryan over and over and over again. And that's where we got burnt on it. But the Rams just signed Bobby Wagner, who is still who after 10 years is probably still a top 10 linebacker in the league.
And I assume he probably gonna try to be top 5 for the way that Seattle treated him.
Seattle cut him
and didn't tell him
via Twitter. He found out via Twitter. He was like, "That's news to me." So he got a fire on it, and he's one of them dudes that don't talk a lot of trash. He's never in the news. Just
and he's already said, "I don't have any issues or malice against Seattle. No, I'm gonna take it out on the field. I see y'all
beat them down, and I'm sure.
And I'm on a better team.
The Rams
I'm a better team. What do you think I have to worry about?
Can you imagine? They got Aaron Donald at one level, Bobby Wagner at the second level, Jalen Ramsey at the third level.
Things are going to work out in your favor
every time. So the Rams are about to be insane. Devontae Parker, who's best known for being able to push himself up with his toes some kind of way. Really good receiver. Yeah, really good receiver. Was traded from the Dolphins to the Pats. The Pats actually needed a receiver. The Dolphins didn't because they just got Tyreek Hill. They have Jalen Waddle. So now Devontae, who is probably, I think he's due some money pretty soon, was traded to the Pats for some picks. So that's interesting. And then the big trade, not big trade, but there was a lot of movement, and this Eagles Saints agreed to a big draft day trade. The Eagles.
So quarterback, these are both quarterback trades as far as I'm concerned. I feel like the Saints are going to go this year and try to get somebody. And I feel like this allows the Eagles one more year with Jalen Hurts. Either you're going to figure this out, bro, or you are going to be a backup or a running back.
So the Eagles had the 16th and the 19th pick. The Saints had the 18th pick. The Eagles traded the 16th and 19th pick to the Saints for the 18th pick. They also received a 3rd round, a 7th round pick in this year's draft. But the biggest part of this trade is they received a 1st round pick next year and a 2nd round pick in 2024. Why is that important? Because the Saints are projected not to make the playoffs as their roster stands right now. Yep. Then the Saints received also a 6th round pick, which is, kind of inconsequential, but you never know. You might get you got Tom Brady in the 6th round. You may get somebody.
Yeah. And you can always package those guys. Hey, I'll give you a 5 and a 6 for a 4. I give you
that's where I see the Saints doing. I see the Saints trying to package these 2 picks and move into either the top 10. Yeah, that's the only place you're really going to move. Top 10, or if somebody falls. And right now, if they're going after a quarterback, this pretty much ensures that they're going to get either Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett.
I think Kenny Pickett
they're great. I don't know.
I think Kenny Pickett
is the best pro-ready quarterback in the draft.
I think they think that he's the fool's gold. Drew Brees.
Kenny Pickett?
Or I could see maybe them trying to get Ritter from Cincinnati.
Sleeper. Desmond Ritter. Yeah.
So
with that being said, it's a big trade because of all the picks, but I think the Eagles came out ahead with getting the first round pick for next year.
Yes, because
So
it's an insurance policy. Either Hurts will play good and we will help you, or you will play bad and we will replace you. But that spot is there for a reason.
And it's supposed
Pick
to be
your
a lot of
poison.
quarterbacks next year. Supposed to be a lot of quarterbacks next year coming out. So we'll see. But with that being said, we did not mean to go 35, 36 minutes in the NFL football segment of Around the League. But hey, man, that Rooney Rule expansion was an interesting topic to talk about.
Absolutely. Important.
So with that, very important. And y'all rocking with us by now. We 51 episodes in. Y'all know we talk. We long-winded, and we always have something good to say. So with that being said, we are now going to move. We are now going to move to the splashes of the week, where we talk about. We got another now. We dedicated 15 minutes for this, but we about to talk about the NCAA urging Congress to formalize the NIL deals, because we'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I think it, and I'm sure Norwood will as well. Once we move in, yes, we are Black, so we know it's probably some type of racial component in this as well.
No, I don't think this has a racial component. I think this has a stupidity component, but we'll get there.
Y'all stay tuned. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for our final segment, our splashes of the week of episode 51 of the Splashcast, the Around the League edition. We're going to talk about the
marathon.
The marathon, man. Yeah, I know, y'all. I know we thought we would never get here. By the time you listen to this segment, you'll probably be 2 hours in. It is what it is, y'all. We thank you. We love y'all for rocking with us. But it was a big sports week.
I was more referring to us breaking this episode into 3 different days. I got different hats on, like I'm Ray J. Shout out to my cuz. Yeah, we just.
So if you haven't noticed, and I guess you wouldn't know, we definitely recorded this over 3 days because life.
No, let's be real. We old as fuck, and we got, the weekends went way more left than we expected. And
the weekend was made for a 25-year-old. Versus a 35-year-old. See, and this is what happens when you old. You forget to turn all of your stuff down while you potting. So, but with that being said, man, I don't even know who this person is. Scam likely. We got a few things we're going to talk about today, man. We were talking, back in the football segment, we talked about how the NFL is requiring all 32 teams to hire minority coaches. It's the expansion of the Rooney Rule. Well, there's a new rule in the NCAA called the name, image, and likeness rule, where players can finally get paid. What's happening now? Congress or coaches are calling on Congress to formalize and regulate the NIL rights and deals going on.
Just tell me when I can go.
So the reason I think that they want to formalize this, they want Congress to provide a uniform federal law to simplify and clarify the act. Because right now, this Congress and the federal government is saying this is a state thing, and the states are making their own laws to benefit them, i.e., Louisiana.
Their state schools.
Grambling being able to pay everybody. And the people that are publicly taking advantage of this more are the HBCUs. And it's funny that now that all of these players are transferring to HBCUs and getting paid, now they want Congress to formalize and regulate this NIL deal, this name, image, and likeness law. It's funny that there wasn't any outcries until Deion was like, hey, come on down to Jackson State. He was like, come on over to Grambling. Hell, Southern even getting some people. Tennessee State, we just talked about him getting Kayvon Pope, who was a top recruit going from Ohio State going to Tennessee State. If you don't think there's money in that, you crazy. And I'm not talking and saying that as if that's a bad thing and he's going there because of money. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that being able to pay the players over the table, because we know all y'all PWIs was paying them under the table. For us to be able to pay them over the table is starting to level the playing field. And what happens, and I told y'all, I said this was something about blacks and why I say this is racial. Whenever anything black owned starts to level the playing field, they always change the rules. And when I say they, it's the majority. They will always change the rules. Hell, you can even go, and if you want to take it, we can go to voting. If you look at voting, when voting start happening, what do they start doing? Gerrymandering. They start redlining. Let's change these. Let's change this right here. These people votes is now going to go over here. So that's why I think this is some bullshit, right? Because it's not made in good faith. It's not made for the benefit. They don't want it to regulate for the benefit of the school. I mean, for the benefit of the player. They've been doing it to regulate for the benefit of them. And y'all know when I say them, I'm talking about the Anglos. So I think it's some BS. I'm gonna let you go because you said you think this is just all stupid.
It is never fun when the rabbit has the gun. When the NCAA was getting all the money and the schools were getting all the money, and people suggested, hey, maybe you should pay the players. Can't do it. Don't have a way to do it. How will we do that? We're nonprofit, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew that was some bullshit. And everybody tried to tell them, hey, you should fix this. I refuse to do it. In the words of my father, Lester Norwood II.
Why change anything? They're paying up under the table. Why change it?
Either you can fix this or I can fix this for you. And they chose not to fix it. So it got to fix for them. Now they're in a situation where they don't have control.
Mm-hmm.
The players are making money. Now they're like, hey, we need regulation. No, we needed regulation when you was making all the money. At that point, couldn't do it. Now these kids getting paid millions of dollars. Don't need regulation. Can't do it. I hope you go cry in the car. I hope that there's never any regulation. I hope this is unregulated. I hope these kids run it up from now until eternity, because you had forever since the beginning of the NCAA to fix this, and you purposely chose not to, and now you want somebody to fix it because you're on the wrong side of things. Nah, don't care. Cry. Hey, tell somebody else. Quote Justin Timberlake, "Cry me a river." What you got, Reg?
I'm gonna bring this up. So, for example, in this article, when explaining why Congress wants to do this, is Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech has a partnership with TiVo. The players get paid. They also get a debit card with $404 on it. Area code 404, of course. They get the 4K streaming device. And the total value of the partnership for the players is $100,000, right? By the time they go through, because they get free the streaming device, they get free 4K, they get everything's free, right?
$100,000 for some internet and TV.
I mean, everything that comes with it, the debit card, the internet TV, they get that concurrently. It goes over and over and over again. The thing is, this is no different than a bowl game. Every bowl game, whoever sponsors the bowl game gives the players all of this shit, right? So if you go, like, for example, when Georgia Tech
and hold on, shout out to the bowl game packages, the jackets, the sneakers, the CD players that they was giving out back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I was about to reference. So, like, when my cousin played for Georgia Tech, right? Well, I call him because he's my god brother. They got Xboxes. They got watches. They got shirts, shoes. They got all of these things. And it's not like it was hidden. It wasn't illegal. This is what the brand gave them as a partnership for accepting the bowl bid. Because you don't have to go to that bowl game. They invite you and you accept it. Or you can, if so, I'm sure Alabama, for example, gets invited to the Sugar Bowl. They get invited to the Fiesta Bowl. They get, well, depending on, the playoff. But
yes,
all of that stuff. So they accept the bid. This is what you get for accepting the bid. So there's no difference to me between that and okay, well, I'm going to have a brand partnership with TiVo, or I'm going to have a brand partnership with whatever bank or Motlink and Associates or whatever. I'm going to have a brand partnership. It's the same thing. But when it starts happening and the playing field gets leveled, is when the BS starts, is when they want to go to Congress.
But didn't want to go to Congress when they was making money hand over foot and the players weren't getting paid. Then at that point, it was like, couldn't do it. But now you keep saying couldn't do it. We have found out it's very possible for players to get paid. Very possible. For example, the Boardroom. If y'all know about the Boardroom, it's a podcast / media agency started by Kevin Durant. They just went into partnership. You know, he's in Brooklyn. They just went into partnership with St. John's, the Red Storm. Yeah. It's an unlimited program encompassing educational, networking, leadership platform that will serve as an exclusive editorial partner around select NIL announcements, helping amplify the storytelling and content development of the St. John's athletic department, specifically the basketball team. And they will contribute to the players' income. They're about to pay the players, and they're about to get their name out there. Yes, they're about to start making. This is a film. This is a seasonal film that probably comes out, and you get your, hey, I get to put my name and everything on it. I get to promote it, and I get paid off of, like any other film. Mm-hmm. Man, fuck the NCAA. You could have fixed this, and you chose not to. I don't care what happened. I hope. A lot of people say that the NCAA at this point is not really needed. These teams could take and make their own super conference. I'm not crying, not nan crocodile tear for the NCAA. You made your money on the backs of young Black children, and now they're getting paid, and you want your piece. Yep. Now, I'm sure that you will get your piece because of the way that you operate. But every year that you don't, it makes me happy. Moving on, man. Moving on. Hey, did you see that Florida high school track kid that got punched? I mean, he got laid out. I saw the puncher and the punchee. But go ahead. I don't like how this. Go ahead, tell the story, and then let me tell the story. So, in Florida, Osceola, Florida, there's a track meet. I believe it was cross country, and a white team. On the video, you see a white team running and a Black kid. And let me tell y'all, if you ever ran cross country, you be tired. For him to get the energy and sprint in this cross country race and catch the kid, Black team caught the white student, ran up behind him, laid him out, and kept going. That's the way the story is framed. That's the way it's presented. Everybody, all of us, we knew that there's more to this story. I immediately said, he got called a nigger. Hard he are. Well, from the way that the entire story reads, the kid pushed him earlier. Mm-hmm. He told him, move the fuck out the way. Yeah. And my thing is, once you started, you can never be upset with the response. And my man's waited until the time was appropriate. You know how mad you got to be because he wasn't close. He sprinted around that curb and caught him. And you got to know how fast you got to be. He's faster than that kid. If you can be behind me, I can run on by you. I can club punch you and keep trucking. So they later found out about the kid being pushed. And this is the part that's super interesting to me is after they acknowledged that the Black kid was pushed first, before he punched the kid, the parents of the kid who was punched wanted to pursue criminal charges. They wanted to press charges. The police said, hey, what's good is good. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So at that point, if we're going to charge him, we're going to charge your son too. And You know that story was
fizzled on out.
That story changed so quick. Oh no. My son, my white son, criminal, can't do it, cannot do it. At that point, they want to see if they can go after civil charges.
Money.
Which to me is it's a sucker move. And why don't we hold the aggressor accountable? That makes too much sense.
You hold the aggressor accountable when he's not white. I'm here today. That's what it is. I mean, the aggressor's white on a black dude. That's why they're not holding him accountable. The black dude is, if you look at the video, and I'm sure I have the video playing, the black dude is more physical looking, physically mature.
No, he's a better athlete. You just say what it is.
He's a better athlete. He's bigger. He's stronger. He lifts more weights. He's faster.
He's clearly faster. He caught him and punched him. What are you talking about?
The white dude is
if he was that fast,
looks like a cross country runner. What is it? The black dude looks like a sprinter. The white dude looks like a cross country guy. That's how it looks.
He looked like a sack of potatoes to me. Scooping him up off the track. Scoop, babe. Nah, man, we're not going for this. It's 2022, man. Whatever you bite off, you better be able to chew. And if you think that you can just push people and say, get the fuck out of the way, well, he gonna find you, and he did what? Got you the fuck out of the way.
Get the fuck out of the way. Moving on, man. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but it's funny how that story was front page news for a day.
And if you ever grew up, if you ever grew up in the South and you were a child, you had a brother, or I'm sure even with your sister, there's a game called Last Lick. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get that last lick. Know that.
As I was talking about my cousin, Garrett said, he said, man, I'm forever get my lick back. That's something you gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm forever get me and my sister played that game. I'm gonna forever get my lick back. I'm gonna forever get my lick back. And he did he get it back?
Back in blood.
Moving on, man. Shout out to United States men's
let's clap that up for equality. Let's clap that up for equality. That's what we like around here.
But the United States men's soccer team qualified for
cancel us for that.
I don't care. You can't cancel YouTube. This is Second Amendment rights. I'm about to be right on Republican with that. Second Amendment right, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment. I have the freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. Damn, I mean, the Hawks about to get beat. I mean, we getting dunked on by all the white people on the court. It's crazy. But
Nate said
the United States men's soccer team has qualified for the World Cup in Qatar. They did lose to Costa Rica 2-0, but because of their record, it secured the third place in the Confederation of the North Central CONCACAF. I'm not about to say that entire long.
Yeah, that's correct. That's exactly how you're supposed to say that.
So they actually qualify for the World Cup. They got the 32nd World Cup slot, and they are awarded the winner of the Intercontinental Playoff between Asia and South Asia. So we are going to have to play an Asia team. I'm not going to go through all the 30 participants, but just know that the United States men's soccer team, I don't think has been in the World Cup in a while.
Let's go, Clint.
Man, they're kicking our ass though. But yeah, let's go, Clint. The United States men's soccer team. When it comes to soccer and the national soccer team, the women dominate.
Correct.
The men do
go for the ride.
The men do not. I don't even think they were in last year. They
just have really nice jersey. No, they be right there on the cusp. They make it and then get put right out.
They did not.
But I mean,
last World Cup.
Oh my bad. Oh, World Cup. I'm confused with Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, they in the Olympics. Yeah, they qualify for the Olympics and you're right. They be rounded in. If it was the NCAA tournament, it'd be rounded 64. They'd be right on out of there. So shout out to them. Hopefully they can make a pretty good run in the World Cup. Moving on, and soccer is starting to, because I think it'll be a better showing because soccer in the United States is growing. So you have actually a lot of players, although soccer players are fiercely loyal to their countries, you will still have some soccer players that will represent the United States as well. Possibly. I don't know. Maybe that's just a pipe.
No, yeah, that is the dreamiest of dreams. I come here to be regular. You said good soccer players come here to end their career. Well, I played MLS at the end of my career. Y'all
You
pay
gonna
me
pay
some
me
money.
$70 million to come over here and just walk around? All right.
I'll play with the Seattle Timber.
Moving on, man.
That's what
Moving.
David Beckham did. I ain't
Yeah,
got
he
shit
did.
else to do. Sit up with that Spice Girl all day.
Moving on. Tiger Woods looked like he's gonna play in the Masters, which is awesome because of his return when he almost had his leg amputated after that accident.
Which is amazing.
Amazing. He shattered his ankle and femur. When somebody said you can break it and then you can shatter it. When it's shattered, that means your bones is in there like popcorn. Like if you take a bean bag and just squeeze it around, that's what your bone feel like. So
I'm happy that he recovered, and he's still the most influential player in golf, whether he plays or not. I mean, we talked about him making $7 million not playing in this season.
Yeah. And so he went to the practice round. He actually was hitting the ball well. He said his concern is being able to actually walk
the course, walk the 18,
because he that's the part that'll be difficult.
You know, they don't make no exception. They didn't make. I forgot the dude's name who had the disability, and they wouldn't let him ride in the car.
He won last year.
No, that was a long time.
The dude,
no.
Where's the dude that
was
born with a club foot, and he can't actually. He won I think he won the U.S. Open. He can't actually. He has a very short backswing because he can't put pressure on his back foot because that's a club foot. They had to break his foot when he was born. But shout out to Tiger. The storyline is set for him to have a miraculous comeback and win the Masters again. The Masters is his tournament. I think he's won it. I think either the most or second most all time. Like the Masters is his tournament. That's where he really made his debut in terms of winning it. You remember with the way he hugged his dad, all of that good stuff. So
yeah, he has so many different memorable moments. And when he was like peak Tiger, he was so good. It was unbelievable. It was ungodly.
That's why,
to play
right?
That well.
Him breaking the record of Jack Nicklaus for most major tour wins was like a foregone conclusion until all that BS happened. Foregone conclusion. It wasn't even gonna be close. And then everything happened, and then everything happened, and then everything happened. So
and Augusta is a very tough course. So to go and just destroy a course that basically humbles a lot of really good golfers, and him to make it look like this is it. That's a issue in golf history forever, along with everything else.
Yep. And we're gonna end the Splash Cast with some wonderful philanthropy news. Aisha and Stephen Curry, the Currys, are building 150 little town libraries across Oakland and across the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco. The goal is to increase the literacy rate amongst the minority students to make sure that they're reading at their level or higher. They have Oakland and the Bay Area, when it comes to literacy rate, it has one of the lowest in the country amongst the minorities. I'm not going to, because that's Silicon Valley. So if you got money out there, you go to the best schools. But the goal is to bring 30,000 books in the hands of the kids that need inspiration and the tools to develop at the right ages, and hopefully bring amazing experience of fun to reading, and which is what this is all about. The first one actually opened in Oakland, where they unveiled it at an elementary school. So the fact that they're putting their money where their mouth is and investing in the community, because it was a big deal when the Warriors left Oakland and went to San Francisco.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, not just the Warriors, everybody left.
The Raiders, the Warriors. I don't know where the Oakland A's play.
That's the only one left.
Yep. And we just took their best player. So When it comes to what they're doing, it is awesome. And LeBron, Steph don't want to play with you, bro. Stop putting that. This about the third time you done said that now. If I had to play with somebody in today's game, it'd be with Steph Curry. Everybody would want to play with Steph Curry.
Seeds taken.
Steph was like, no, I'm good, bro. He said it on the barbershop. I'm good. You know, that's some content. No, I played with him in the All-Star game. That count? But shout out to Steph and Aisha for working on that.
It's never going to happen because they would have to get rid of Draymond. And, I mean, you're right, but you can't get. I mean, everything that Draymond does, LeBron does way better, but it just might not sit right with the rest of the team. And can't do that. Draymond's been a good soldier for too long to just be like, oh, we'll swap you out for LeBron. And Draymond put up a big stink about that. And he's already, he has a different relationship with that ownership group than everybody else. He don't apologize.
Okay. I'm the owner.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I ain't gonna argue. LeBron's a better passer than Draymond, even though Draymond's a great passer. Oh, but then he would have, LeBron would have to play some defense over there.
Which he ain't gonna do. He ain't played defense in 2016. So
ain't no scoring champions over here with the Warriors, big dog.
Everybody scored 30. But LeBron would be he would average a triple-double easily with the Warriors. There'd be nothing he couldn't do.
If Draymond is triple single, he's triple double.
Also,
that will be.
I'm about to be messy. I don't care. Shout out to the Currys. They had all that talk about their relationship come out and their swingers and whatever. And they kept that shit under wraps. There wasn't no red table talk out there. Somebody need to take some notes.
Yeah. Keep a bit. One thing that me and Reggie have talked about all week. In the DM, keep your business off the internets. This ain't the place for it. Stop crying into your phone. It's weird, bro. It's weird. And we're gonna laugh at you. I hate to tell you.
Hey, every time. It be in the group. I look at it.
And do you like tape it and nail it every time on the first time, or do you retry?
So we here now. That's what I be wanting to know. Like, so was this the first shot? Like, because we shoot this weekly, and there's been almost every episode. All right, we're gonna start that over. The intro, I be fucking up almost weekly. I'd be like, this episode 46. Nope, we have 52, 51. So, like, do you cry? Like, how do you cry on command? And then complain when somebody talk trash about? Come on, man. All right, now we're getting into it. Ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of the Splash Cast, episode 51. It is Wednesday because we had to take a day of recovery, but the Splash Cast 12 pack is out. The Atlanta edition is out. We back to video.
Yeah.
I'm excited, John. I'm sorry. I'm excited. Go ahead, Norwood. If we didn't miss anything, man, take us out.
Okay, so yes, this means this is Wednesday. ATL came out today. Splashcast 12 pack came out today. I was able to sneak the Jay-Z, Pusha T, Pharrell, neck and wrist onto the playlist just in time, just for you, because I know all the music before everybody else does. And then this will come out as soon as Reggie finished editing it, which I assume is probably Thursday. With that said, we will be right back on Saturday morning live, and we will be not as hungover as we usually are.
Fair.
We look forward to seeing you. Same bat channel, same bat time. Number 1, more black baseball. Number 2, more black cowboys and cowgirls. Number 3, our favorite. Send some money to the HBCU that you graduated from. Send some money to the HBCU in your neighborhood. And then, as we always tell you, wipe out your 401k, your checkings, your savings, your cash out. I know you got probably $35 in there that you forgot about. You might even have a little bit of money in your Venmo account. I doubt it because who uses Venmo anymore, unless you guys want to sponsor us. And then I promise.
Sponsor us, Venmo. We love y'all. We will use Venmo exclusively if you would like a brand partnership deal.
Absolutely. But then send all the money to the Hampton University. actually sent a little bit of money to over here to the Splashcast. We had to update the technologies, and of course, you know the technologies, they do cost. Reggie, what you got for me now?
Man, you know what it is. You know what it is. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @_the Splashcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Open the link tree, y'all. Everything that I'm saying is on the link tree, especially the updated Splashcast master playlist and Splashcast. Damn. Got excited.
12-pack.
Got it. 12-pack. Got ahead of myself. Splashcast 12-pack. Everything is there. We're on Facebook. Like, subscribe to the Instagram @the Splashcast or Dive Team Media. You can search it all. I made sure that you can search Dive Team Media. You can search Splashcast. You can search Reggie and Norwood. It's gonna come up. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the bell. Hit the bell so that when we post our pre-games, when we post our episodes, we take a lot of time and a lot of care. We love doing this and interacting with y'all. So go to Facebook, like the page, like the fan page. Everything will be there. Make sure y'all go follow us on Twitch. That is coming really soon. I'm still learning this new computer.
That's what she said.
I'm coming soon. Shut up and hurry up. I'm busting nut. Burn the neck. But back to it. Follow us. I said Twitter @_ the Splashcast, Facebook Splashcast with Reggie and Norwood, YouTube Splashcast or Dive Team Media. You can email us at diveteammedia@gmail.com. Instagram @the Splashcast, Twitch @the Splashcast. That is coming soon. The website is under construction right now. Also, we are looking for people to help us in the future. Once we get this Twitch channel up and running, we will need a little bit of help. We will need a little bit of help with putting together our EPK, which is our electronic press kit. This is something that I learned last week what that is. Also, we love to promote Black businesses. We love to promote businesses in general, small businesses, Black businesses, minority businesses, any type of business that is for the community. We love promoting it. So we want to do some sponsorships and brand deals with you guys and help each other and grow the community. With that being said, I think I've covered it all. Dive Team Media @gmail.com is when you reach us. Hit the bell on YouTube, hit the bell on Instagram, hit the bell. Sorry, y'all, I took a 3-hour nap, so I'm up.
And I am in fact ready to lay down. But with that said, before I lay down, it's still one thing I got left to do. What's that, Reg? Hang out.
Peace,
out
y'all.
of here. Adios, amigos. Y'all be safe.
Love y'all. Stay safe.
You're not going to play with Steph. You'd be lucky to play with Bronny.
Nope, I don't talk about nobody kids. Lucky to play with Bronny. Love y'all. Be safe.
Yeah. Dope bowl, go skirt, yeah. 34 for that work, yeah. Dope fiend, got a pipe dream, yeah. Serve my neighbors, 34 flavors, I got ice cream, yeah. Nigga took it from the box Chevy to the Billy Coupe. All night serving hard white nigga P. Miller in a dicky suit. Bullshit fucking yo bitch, I just put a baby in the nigga booth. 100 bitches in the penthouse, I be too live, let the nigga loot. I should fuck around, start a peep show. Like the sucker fucker, she a freak though. Yeah, I rap nigga, gotta eat though. Got bricks, nigga, Shaq freak though. I been on the package for a week though. Plug hit a nigga with the lingo. Better have my money by the mingo. Got bricks, nigga, Shaq freak though. Yeah. Bitch, all white bricks. Hoe got caught with a 4-way, told on the whole damn gang on like that bitch. I was pushing on the interstate, trunk full of weight when my dog woke up. Told him I just did a whole thing, got a fatty wop, no dog, all cut. Yeah, dope bowl, go skirt, yeah. 34 for that work, yeah. Dope fiend, got a pipe dream, yeah. Serve my neighbors, 34 flavors, I got ice cream, yeah. All white bricks.
When it come to getting money, nigga, we the best. Put a chopper on you pussies with the GPS. Getting dressed up for the club just to go be with rats. Never speaking with you niggas cause I'm speaking facts. Couple mil a duffel bag, I got a block to feed. Kill them niggas, homicide, they got a lot of leads. She told me I'm the richest nigga that she ever met. 20,000 Balenciagas, I ain't wet him yet. Her new boyfriend keep asking where you met him at.
skirt, skirt, yeah, yeah.